What's up? Welcome. Today we're gonna be not listening to anything, but we are going to be checking out the year that was 2022 in terms of listening. Listening experience, streaming experience, what I liked the most, what I didn't like as much. And to do that, we're not gonna watch Spotify Wrapped. I'm saving that for Hardcore Awards 2022, which, by the way, vote. If you haven't voted yet, vote. If you have voted already, please check that you voted in round 2, because there is round 2 is not just round 1. It's probably much easier now to pick because there's only top 5 in each category. So vote in Hardcore Awards 2022, and I'll see you at the Christmas day with the winners. But we are going to use instead this wonderful tool called Last.fm, which a lot of you use. Probably a lot of you are like, what is this? What is this tool? But it basically allows you to kind of put all of your Spotify data into this website, which then divides all of this data into nice little lists with all the numbers, and it's very nice and accurate representation of what I've been listening to in the year of 2022. So let's jump into it. So let's start from the bottom. Let's start from 20. I think 20 is a good number to start with. Top 20 of my artists this year. Let's go. So at a 20th place, we got Ocean's 8 Alaska with 143 scrobbles, which is streams, basically. Ocean's 8 Alaska has been a very interesting band this year. They've dropped an album that has been highly anticipated for a long time, and I've never been a huge fan of them. I'll be honest. I didn't really like their older stuff. I was like, yeah, it's kind of cool, but I wouldn't listen to this every day. Dude. The way I've been listening to this album every day is crazy. Disparity is a really good album. It's a fantastic little fun, cool, epic, nice album, and I definitely recommend you that album if you like breakdowns, especially because breakdowns in that album are mwah. Number 19, we got Bleed From Within with the exact same amount of scrobbles. Look at that. We're sharing basically the 19th spot with Ocean's 8 Alaska, but this is a band that again dropped an album this year as well, and I've been really a big fan of that album. It was a really good metalcore album with fantastic production, vocals, guitar work, drums. It was a really good album, so I'm not surprised for it to be in my top 20 because I do actually really enjoy Bleed From Within. Number 18, we got The Plot on You. That's quite interesting. They didn't drop an album this year. They did drop a song later on, but I think most of it comes from just their older releases. You know, Swan Song and Dispose, both albums have been on rotation. I do like those albums. I like Dispose a little bit more, but yeah, I guess it's a bit of a legacy artist in my top 20 this year. Number 17, we got Fit for a King, of course, another band that dropped an album, and I gotta say, this new album by Fit for a King, it's pretty big improvement over the Path, but I do have a very strange opinion in general about it, because I feel like, and part of me really likes the Path for its particular songs. I really like Louder Voice. I think Louder Voice is one of the best Fit for a King songs ever written, but I do enjoy the new album just more overall. And I do think that people just put too much pressure on Fit for a King. They put too much like expectations that then they themselves get disappointed. I do put a lot of respect on these guys, and this album was pretty good, and that's why it's on my top 20. Let's go. Number 16th, August Burns Red. Once my most listened to band of all time on Spotify. Fun fact. Yeah, I mean, this is just older albums, I guess. Plus a bit of a new song. Although I didn't really listen to Ancestry that much. I'll be honest. I like the song. After the reaction, though, I wasn't really keen on coming back to it. It is what it is, but I have been listening to a lot of their older albums, which explains the placement of it. Number 15, Linkin Park. Ooh, that's cool. That's cool that they're still in my top. Linkin Park is a band that has been fucking just iconic, man. Linkin Park is such a... Yeah, I don't really need to say anything about this. I love Linkin Park to death. It's a band that introduced me into music in general, not just heavy music in general. I think that's like the first band that I was listening to consciously. So, yeah, Linkin Park's the best. Number 14, While She Sleeps. This is a weird one. Most of this year, I've just been finding a bit more of appreciation towards their most recent album, Sleep Society. So that's where a lot of these streams would come from, I'd imagine. And yeah, I listen to While She Sleeps a lot on a regular. So I like the sound. It's one of my favorite bands in metalcore for sure. I mean, I have a giant 4 walls flag right there above my bed. which looks kind of strange because it kind of looks like an Albanian flag. But you know, I'm not Albanian. But hey, number 13, Sleep Token. Sleep Token, Sleep Tokens. This is definitely a lot of This Place Will Become Your Tomb, because that album has come out basically at the end of last year, and so I've just been listening to it. I carried through with it throughout a lot of 2022. I'm in love with this band. If I ever see them live, I'm gonna cry, just so you know. Number 12, Banks Arcade. It's a band that just kind of appeared out of nowhere, and I've been in love with it ever since. I remember one time on stream, someone recommended this song called Drown by them, and I was like, damn, this sounds sick. And then we listened to a couple of singles, I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. I don't quite get the same vibe as that one song, but still cool. But then I listened to the whole album, and it's just mwah. Super fun. Love them. Banks Arcade. Number 11, Wind Waker. Wind Waker with 192 scrobbles. What a band. Wind Waker had such an interesting year. I personally haven't heard much of them before, so following this journey with singles and this my first album of them was really cool, and I really did enjoy the album. I think their song Hide and Seek is one of my favorite songs of the whole year. And yeah, if you haven't listened to Wind Waker, go listen to Wind Waker. They're so fucking fun. Cracking the halfway through, number 10, Thornhill. Another Aussie band, another Australian representative on our list. And it's not surprising. Their newest album, Heroin, has been fucking incredible. I love Thornhill so much. Their new kind of different direction has worked so well for them. It changed their identity completely. It still does have some heaviness to it. Doesn't really sound much like their old selves, to be completely honest, and it's a matter of whether you like it or not, but I love it. So I've been in love with this album ever since. I love it. It's a great album. Number 9, barely scratching 200 streams with 199, is Savior. I'm so happy Savior made it into my top 10. Savior has dropped an album that has been so fucking cool. I've been listening to it so much. It's a really short kind of, I think it only has like 8 songs in it. It's only 30 minutes long, roughly. But it's so packed with breakdowns, with emotions, with beautiful vocals, with disgusting vocals, with just really strong riffs and breakdowns. I adore this album. Shine and Fade is fantastic. It's one of my favorite albums of the year. And yeah, cheers to that. Number 8 is Silent Planet. Okay, so I think a lot of this comes from their older albums, of course, and as well as Iridescent that came out at the end of last year. But I've been listening to a lot of Silent Planet again. I think I've had a bit of a weird break from Silent Planet for a long time, and recently I've been getting back into them a lot more, and I've seen them live recently, which kind of sparked another motivation to listen to more of them. So I love Silent Planet. Silent Planet's great. Number 7 is Zealand Ardor, one of the weirder bands that I listened to this year. One of the only bands on this list that I've kind of found specifically this year and never heard of them before that. Super interesting project. I love it. It's so different from everything else on this list, and it's what I really like about it. It's unique. It's got a style to it. It's got just like a musical sass to it. I love it. It's the kind of album that is weird, and it's probably not gonna get you on the first listen, but there is something about it. There absolutely is. Number 6 is Architect. Ooh, drama. Just kidding. I don't really like the new album, and I don't think that a lot of these streams come from the new album. I mean, we can just kind of click on it and see. Most of those streams came from Holy Hell. Another big chunk came from For Those That Wish to Exist. Another big chunk came, like, this album was all the way here, right, along with the singles. So a lot of this was the previous albums, and Holy Hell being my basically favorite ever Architect album. It's not surprising. So opening up number 5, top 5, we're jumping into it. This is Void of Vision with 266 streams. All right. Void of Vision is such a good band. Void of Vision is so fucking fun. I love them. The Chronicles to Heaven EP is just, it's musical genius. That's what it is. Every single song on that EP is so fun, is so good, is so artistic, and I just adore that EP. It's definitely my favorite EP of the year, and I definitely recommend you check out more of them. Their newest EP that had a lot more dubstep, EDM influence was kind of cool. But like I said in my reaction, which is up on YouTube if you want to check that out, it's not quite my thing. I respect that they did that as artists, but you know, it's not something I'll be coming back to that often. With that being said, just that one EP alone has managed to move this band into my top 5, which is really fucking cool. Number 4 is Of Mice and Men. Wow, that's surprising. What have I been listening to from Of Mice and Men from? I listened to The Flood a lot. Oh my god, look at that. We got The Flood, we got their self-titled, which is a highly underrated album. Cool. I didn't know I listened to this much of The Flood this year. That's hype. Mice and Men has been a band that's kind of like a gateway for me into metalcore. It's one of the first metalcore bands that I listened to in my later age of like 15 is when I got into metalcore. So I'm glad to see that they're still among top. I love this band. It's a really good band. Number 3, Bad Omens. One of the most hyped up bands of 2022. I'm sure a band that is among top for a lot of people this year in general. This is a fun band, and I've seen them live 3 times now, or 2 times, and I've enjoyed every single one. Unfortunately, I couldn't come to the most recent show with a sick-ass lineup with Make Them Suffer. It just makes me so sad, because I got sick. I got super sick, I couldn't come, but people had fun, and I'm super glad about that. But Bad Omens, absolutely not surprising to be so high up. I really love melodic stuff. I think you know that about me. I love melody in music. I love listening to just purely melodic stuff. So this is cool. This is cool. I love Bad Omens. They dropped a cool album. Is it my favorite album of the year? Probably not. Probably not. I like some other albums a lot more, even from this top 20. Number 2, we got Northlane. Of course. One of my favorite bands of all time. Definitely among top 3, I would say. Northlane, comfortably. I love this band to death. They are so good. And Obsidian may not have been my favorite album of the year, as you may have seen from my reaction and even just the thumbnail. But ever since then, I've kind of changed my mind about it. It's still not my favorite album of Northlane's. I think it's actually the opposite. It's one of my least favorite albums by them. But that doesn't mean that it's bad, because it's still a pretty good album, hindsight. And I've been listening to a lot of specifically new songs. If we go into the specific page for Northlane, you can see that majority of the streams this year actually came from Obsidian. You know, we got some little crumbs of Alien here and there and some older albums, but mostly Obsidian. Yeah, as you can see, all of it comes from Obsidian, and I've been enjoying that album a lot more than I thought I would, so first opinions, not always final ones, and I'm happy that Northlane's this high up. But number 1, our number 1 most listened to band is, of course, The Devil Wears Prada. I mean, it's yeah, it's kind of obvious. It's kind of obvious. You could have followed my journey with The Devil Wears Prada through the singles all the way to the album, and know instantly that I absolutely adored the shit out of this band this year. And yeah, I'm super glad that this is represented through my listening habits. Nothing to add. The Devil Wears Prada dropped a sick album. Yeah, good stuff. All right, well, there you have it. That was my little run through my last FM of this year. I would love to make this a annual thing so that we can get to know each other more through our listening habits. Please feel free to post your most listened to stuff in the comments down below. Like, just, you know, do top 5s or top 3s or whatever you want. Just drop it into the comments. I would love to join the conversation, join the discussions, and let me know what you think about my thing. If you feel we relate a lot on our listening habits, I would love to hear that as well. But I've enjoyed doing this. It was like a weird rewind, you know, weird personal rewind. Quick reminder to you all, these uploads are gonna be a little rarer nowadays, because I'm mostly focusing on making hardcore awards, the best hardcore awards so far. By the way, you can do that as well by voting. If you haven't voted already, please vote. It helps out everyone. It creates a diversity among voters. It creates more participation, and everybody loves it. Everybody's a winner at the end. Of course, I'll see you then at Christmas Day with Hardcore Awards and your votes. But that's all for now. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for sticking through this painfully long video. But this is all from me. I love y'all. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.